Right, so I've gotten the question, do I have to be full vegan in this program? The answer is no. I am a health coach who teaches a plant-based whole foods diet. This is the diet that I have experienced to be the most healing in my life. This is the diet that I was trained in, all the reasons for it, all the benefits for it, in my Master Herbalist program. In the program that I went through, they emphasized over and over that we are not about giving a pill for every ill, but make it an herbal supplement, all right? I'm not into standardized herbs. I'm not into Band-Aids, okay? I'm into true, deep healing. And you get that by deeply nourishing and cleansing the body. So if I were to teach you to use the herbs only and say nothing about a plant-rich nutrition plan, I would be irresponsible as a vitalist herbalist, having studied what I've studied and known what I know and experienced what I have experienced. So let me tell you a little bit about my nutrition story. So for me, it's been over 14 years since I started cleaning out my diet. One of the first things I did was eliminating soda. All right. At first I switched it for, well, let's see, what was it called? Fresca, like the aspartame soda, because we all thought that was better. And then it turns out aspartame is a neurotoxin, so super fun. Anyway, that only lasted a year or two that I was drinking that stuff. But anyway, I started getting rid of the obvious stuff, right? Like the highly processed sugars and sodas and candies. And that was the first step, okay? And then I just gradually moved into a diet where I was still eating all the food groups, but I would get the highest form of every food group that I could get. So switching to organic when it was affordable, when it was accessible and possible to find it. Getting to know local farmers. This is part of, my foray into permaculture and regenerative agriculture that my husband and I are very passionate about and part of this movement. And my health improved just by getting cleaner, healthier, more vibrant versions of all the foods. And that was very enjoyable. And then at one point we discovered that my nursing baby was very sensitive to wheat, even wheat grass. If I drank a smoothie or a juice with wheat grass in it and then nursed him, within 15 minutes he would be screaming. It was terrible, and that's why he didn't sleep. So that's my other tip for women whose babies just will not sleep. Look at their digestion. Anyway, we can talk more about that later. So we learned that he was sensitive to wheat and wheat grass. And then we learned that I was sensitive to dairy. I had loose bowels my entire life. I didn't know it wasn't normal. No one talked about bowel movements. And so we cut wheat and dairy out of our diet for a while. And so we did that sort of highly restrictive diet for about 6 to 9 months. And a lot of things got better, and then they got worse again. And then I met a chiropractor who taught me how to actually eliminate the allergies. And so we did that. And I got kind of into the Weston A. Price diet, and we started doing a lot of bone broth, liver, organ meats, raw milk, fermented everything, cod liver oil, and a lot of things did get better. Then they didn't. I became pregnant with my third child, and I continued this diet, and it was not my best pregnancy. I had a lot more depression. I had a lot more mood issues. I actually ended up with high blood pressure at the end of my pregnancy for the first time ever. I normally run low on my blood pressure, so it was very strange, very stressful. My midwife got really worried. It was scary. I didn't like that. And my postpartum recovery was the worst of all three. And yes, I was 3 years older than the last time I'd had a baby, but I was still in my early 30s. It was just a difference of 3 years. So that was my personal experience. Now, if you want to do this program and you are completely sold on cod liver oil and bone broth and raw milk, and you want to keep doing it during the program, that is completely your choice. But what I will teach you is a plant-based whole foods diet. I'm not talking about junk vegan food. I am talking about using everything that is good from the nourishing traditions mentality, everything that is good about learning how to soak, sprout, ferment things, properly prepare our grains, legumes, nuts and seeds, but also how to be plant powered. It is not true that you can't get everything you need from plants, and I can tell you how. And it's not with like super expensive supplements for the rest of your life. You don't need B12 supplements. You need wholesome foods that actually supply those things, and they do exist, and they're not that hard to find. So this is what I would love to teach you. Again, it's going to be totally up to you how far down that path you go, whether you continue having meat and dairy, but I will recommend to you a very plant-rich diet, and I will teach you how to transition to that diet in a very comfortable way. Some people have these horrible experiences and they say, oh no, my body hates plants, I can't digest them, I'm going back to the meats, you know. Well, you just needed a little more information, and your body needed a little more love and a little more help to get through that transition. Part of my program did have some education on the Ayurvedic types, as there's these different body types in terms of physical appearance and what they tend to need constitutionally. I am the type that is, obviously, if you can't tell, I am the type that is tall and skinny like an antenna. And I am, you know, uncharacteristically strong in that one type versus being more spread out like most women are. And that is actually the one type in that tradition, which again is from a different part of the world and a different climate than my DNA evolved in, if you want to say it that way. But according to that tradition, I am the one type that absolutely needs meat and dairy. And so if I can thrive on plants and have made it through that transition, and now I no longer have loose bowels, I have way more energy than I've ever had, I can teach you. So we don't have to believe all of these, you know, dogmas and whatever. Keep an open mind, be curious, experiment with something and see how you feel. And so I would love to teach you this. Let's do the work. Let's help you get pregnant. Let's send you on your way for your best pregnancy, best birth, best postpartum period ever.